Hello, I am Lisa J. Stocks. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Finance Friday. And I am here with my co host of the day, Marlene from Marlene's Motivates. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marlene. Hold on. Yeah, Lisa, can you mute? I'm getting echo. Thanks. Hey, everybody. I'm Marlene Motivates, and I am a life coach, and I share motivation tips for positivity, breaking through the barriers, and getting into a healthy mindset shift. Thanks for inviting me, Lisa.
Okay, guys. Somebody in the chat, if anyone's watching so far, please let us know how the quality sounds. Are you able to see and hear us clearly and all of that? Are we coming through good? Let me know. Okay, so I decided to call today's live stream They're Not Like Us. Because both Marlene and I are willing and interested in talking about those hard topics. I definitely have chosen a niche that is unexpected. When I tell people, yeah, I have a YouTube channel and I say I share what I talk about here, they're shocked. I don't know what they expect that I'm going to be talking about braids and makeup for fashion, but no. I chose a serious topic and on Marlene has several channels, and throughout her channels, I usually tag Marlene Motivates when we do collaborations together, but throughout her channels, she is the same. She tackles those tough topics that are not, always in the mainstream media or things that you might be pressing down and not want to talk about or not have someone to talk about. Do you agree with me, Marlene, that we've taken on some tough topics here on YouTube?
Yes, I agree. Some very tough topics. And I think it's one of those things that I love to see not only women, but men coming together from our age group, which I think is like late 30s to about the 50s. And we always talk about something that is of value so that we can shift the trajectory of our lives.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, Marlene. Let me know if I forget to mute and you're having any issue with the audio. But guys, if I'm streaming both vertical and horizontal, so if you want a different or a better viewing experience, you might want to shift to the other live. If not, I'm glad that I came across your short speed. And if you're new here, listen in for a little bit and see if this is content that you enjoy. We talk all things finance when it comes to my channel. But check out Marlene's channel also. It will be in the description of this video and on my community wall. So, first off, it is the mid-year point. We are July 10th as we are streaming right now. So I wanted to just take this time. I've been doing it for my channel members as well as over in the Discord of just making this be a time to reflect back on what happened, as a total in 2026. So far, that first half of, I'm sorry, a total of 2025, you can evaluate that. And if you thought to yourself at the beginning of the year, anything that you needed to improve on in 2026, we're at the mid-year point. So it's time to reflect back and see, have you been on track with those things? I'm not a person that's all about, New Year's resolutions, but when we come to these times, I think it's a good time to just stop and take a second and reflect. What do you think, Marlene?
Yes, I think it's important to mute Lisa. I think it's important for us, especially at the midway point, June, July, to do some introspection and some reflection. What worked, what didn't work, and what can I improve so that you can grow and you can fix whatever needs to be fixed. It's really important.
So 6 months is a good amount of time. So take this time to see what the things we're going to talk about. There might be one thing that you will take down and say, yeah, I need to improve in that area. Or there may be several, but What you do is you reflect on your personal finances and what's going on in your household, and then you can make those changes between today and December 31st if they weren't already on your radar on something that you needed to get going with. So, let's see. And it's all about being intentional. Everyone, this is about you. It's not I'm not trying to my goals and Marlene goals are not going to be the same. You're not in a race with anyone else. This is about what you have to make improvement on or what you're happy with. And so this could also be a chance for you to look and say, "Hey, I'm proud of the accomplishments and the strides that I've been making." So, first off, we're going to just be talking a little bit about the mid-year checkup. So, in the chat, if you're watching, feel free to share whether it's a letter score or a 1 through 10. How do you think you're doing? And rate your financial progress, basically, is what I'm saying. So, um, these are a few things that you might want to work on. And I don't know if these are things that you do on a regular basis. We'll start off with knowing your net worth and truly digging through all of the numbers. So, when I say this, I don't do it every month, but I do it every few months. And when I do it in detail of, the value of my car, the value of properties, and, the current amount of mortgages that I have due, and, everything, and just get a total net worth, the progress that I've made on my investment accounts. Marlene, is this something that you do? Do you do a total net worth update from time to time?
I probably should. I usually just do that once a year. I don't know why, but like towards the time where it's tax season is when I usually start thinking about like where I am in the space of my portfolio and everything. But you gave me something really to think about.
Yeah, I don't do it every month. I know some people that do. It's a bit much, but when I do take the time to do it, I do it in detail. And so, I have to go look up the current values of the properties and things like that. So it takes time, but I think it's good and it really shows you where you're at truly as far as your overall goals that you're working towards. Now, total amount invested this year, especially if you're working to max out your Roth IRA, we know that it's not actually the calendar year that you have to do that. You get a first, that first few months into the new year. If you're not on, if you need that extra time, you basically have until April to be contributing for the prior year. But we know we can all calculate how many months, how many weeks until your term for contributing to your Roth IRA is going to be up. So, this is just something to think about. Do you have a goal of maxing out your Roth IRA and are you on track to do it? So I don't know if you do investments outside of your employer plan or some things that have those limitations. Marlene, do you mind sharing on that?
Sure. I have a few things on the outside, some things that I got that rolled over from my previous job, and I take the contribution from my job. But also, what I have been adding recently is doing more. Contributing more than just whatever the employer match has been, and I've seen a considerable difference. So I think that's something that, especially in this economy, is kind of hard to um, do more. But even putting, if you can do $50, $100, but more is more, and it will pay off in the long run. I've been doing this for the past 6 months, and I've seen a big difference.
Yes, yes. I know it is hard in this economy with the prices of gas and groceries and so much of our basic necessities, our daily needs being so expensive, but that's when we have to dig deep. And hopefully, we've created a place for ourselves where there is a bit of a buffer and some ways to stay on track with these things. And hopefully, that you can, be on track to achieve your goals. Now, I wanted to just take a quick second to say hello to Key and Fairbrooks and everyone who has chatted so far. DJ Ron, Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting. Feel free to drop any comments or questions related to today's topic, and we will take another break soon to take a look at those. But debt is another thing that you should be always evaluating. But I did want to highlight in this mid year checkup, I am not carrying debt outside of that mortgage debt. But, my credit cards, I use them, I pay them, and I try to be strategic with it in order to get those rewards for gas and groceries, travel, all the different things. Sometimes I even have to adjust my rewards percentage that, might be in a certain category when it comes to my cards. I know you're not a big credit card person, Marlene. Is there anything you want to share on this topic or any strategy? I know we were just both over at Daryl's live and he was talking about the snowball and method of paying off, the avalanche method, as well as using those balance transfers. Can you talk a little bit about how in the past when we were struggling with that debt, how did you manage, and do you have enough emergency savings now in place so that you'll, if something comes up, how are you going to go about getting rid of that debt?
Well, like you said in the beginning, when I was not on the right plane, it was a mess, Lisa. I'm not gonna eat. It was a mess. I was a mess. I had literally no savings. I was into debt over my head. I was living beyond my means. I had no plans for the future, for retirement, for anything. I had nothing. And what changed my life is I had a friend, and I saw her, a pretty young person, and then she got sick, and it's nothing that hits home like seeing somebody that you care about get affected. And because she didn't have any plans, she almost lost her home. And that gave me a wake up call. Like, I opened my eyes, like, we're not that different in age. Like, that could happen to me. So that was my wake up call to attack my debt. And that's when we've mentioned this before, where my family and I paid my house off with my family, and then I started to attack my other bills. I did a hybrid like Daryl, and now that I'm in a different space, where before I had no savings, and now I have a 9 month emergency fund plus portfolio. I have zero debt right now, and I feel like I'm on a good track because I have no mortgage, no debt. The only thing that I have right now is I'm trying to pad my retirement fund, because I'm on the fast track. I'm trying to retire in the next 4 to 5 years. That's my goal, right? That's all I'm thinking about right now. Tunnel vision, 4 to 5 years.
Okay, okay. I think like you that as far as like seeing friends and family being getting illnesses and dealing with those type of struggles, I think has impacted me too. I think that might be second on the list after the layoffs. So yeah, my mother and I have a close friend that were their health their sudden had some sudden health issues, and so my mom has not worked since she ran into her health issues, and it was very unexpected. She wasn't there was no plan, I'm about to retire. She was still going to work, but her health issues put a stop to that immediately. And then I have another friend that in her 40s ran into some health issues, and she has not been able to work since then either. So even at a young age, it could happen. So yeah, we have to be ready for it. And it has really impacted the way that I go about wanting to protect myself and make sure that I'm on track as much as possible. I'd rather be over prepared and know that I tried my best uh, than to be sitting here and not even trying and just totally know that I am underprepared. My portfolio's underperforming. I just don't want any of that. I want to know that I'm here and I've tried my best truly. What steps do you take to get to, let me see, what is Key sharing here? What steps do you take to get to that 9 month level of say, did you share that you were trying to get to 9 months of savings or something, Marlene?
No, I am at 9 months. Oh, you're muted, Lisa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say that today? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. I didn't.
yes.
So I guess that question is to you. What steps did you take to get to that 9 month level?
Well, first of all, I had to make a plan. What do I need to to feel comfortable with my family? Not just I had to rethink the plan because before I was only thinking bills, but you have to think about all the necessary things besides the bills. What about the food? What about needing gas? I've shifted a lot of things because the economy has shifted. Things have gotten more expensive. So I started off with 1 month and then I started to increase because I took things that was not necessary or important for me to have, and I eliminated that, like we've talked about before, the Netflix, this, that, and then I just started to just ping that into my emergency fund until here I am at 9 months. I started with only having 1 month, and it has gradually grown over the past 2 years that now I have a 9 month fund.
Okay, okay, that is great. And some people say 3 to 6 months is good, but personal finance, it all depends. There are so many different factors that I always try to stress to people because it's not a one size fit all thing. You have to think about, who's contributing to your household. Are there multiple incomes? How long does it usually take when you have to look for your next role? Or are you in a very secure industry that you haven't had those interruptions to your employment? So many different things to think about. So your comfort level is, you know, could be much more substantial than someone else's, but you have to find the right fit for yourself. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now in the market. Are you properly diversified? Are you holding too much cash? Do you need to rebalance? This is also something I wanted to touch on as a part of the mid-year check-in. And, are you feeling any FOMO or stress about your portfolio? Don't turn a blind eye to it. I hate when people are just just frustrated with their portfolio but not doing anything about it, like to say to me that your portfolio is just sitting there and it's not doing anything and it's making you angry. Well, then we have to do something about it. I want you to have, I want you, even if it's not going to happen overnight, especially if you're just getting started, or if we need to get rid of some funds and get started new into some things. It's not like you're going to be deep in profit immediately, but take the time to evaluate and face it and just face your fears, dig through, put some time in, put some work in, and evaluate that portfolio. It's that time of year. It's always the time of year to do it, but this is the time that I'm highlighting it. So, have you ever had any experience like that, Marlene, where it was tough to cut something from your portfolio, or you just felt like you needed a change, and were had any struggle with making the change as far as your investments?
Yeah, I feel like there's some companies that I have like this emotional and attachment to it. Like I want it to succeed so bad. I want it to win, but it's just not happening. So I had to be real with myself. There was two companies that I had to cut from my portfolio, and it was an emotional thing because that was something that I did with my mom and my dad, but it just at the time it was working, but that was like 15 years ago. And I had to be real, like it's definitely underperforming. So I had to replace it with something that was going to be more successful instead of just being stagnant.
Hmm. Thankfully, when it comes to my portfolio, the things that I'm holding on to that are, kind of lagging with their performance, or the things that I've had to cut completely, they were not substantial. So that always shows me that I didn't have the level of conviction in them to start with. And thankfully, I was focused more on those really true blue chip stocks in my ETFs. I have a more substantial investment into Google and even Meta and Microsoft, Nvidia, those type of things, as well as my ETFs. I am a person that thinks you need stability and should have ETFs and mutual funds as a part of your investment journey. But when it comes to the positions that have lagged or have to, been completely cut, they've always been significantly lower. So I've been lucky in that way. But I'm here for you if there's any investment that, you're really trying to decide, is it time? Do I have to let it go? Feel free to share or leave me a comment after the live. Okay, thank you to Sharia and Rod and everyone who has joined. Jamal was asking, is it 9 months in cash? Yes, I think she was referring to her emergency funds. And I am Lisa J. Stocks, and this is Marlene Motivates. You can find her name in the description. And, if you're enjoying this conversation, make sure to subscribe. So, next up, I wanted to talk a little bit about taxes. Now, I am no tax professional. I'm not getting into anything deep here, but I just want you to think it's mid-year. This is our mid-year check-in. And like I put on the thumbnail for this one, we're willing to talk about the tough topics around here. And so think back to last year. Think back to what's been going on so far this year. Do you need to touch base with your tax professional on any changes that might be going on when it comes to your tax strategy for the rest of the year? There's no reason for anything to sneak up on us. So, Marlene, any just high level, anything you want to share on this topic of being prepared when it comes to taxes or anything else across the board? I feel like whether it's saving, investing, our tax strategy, we should have an idea of what's coming. If you don't, then you need to be putting in the work to know. So I'm saying whatever it is, whether it's vacations, whether it's taxes, whether it's something expected or routine, whether it's unexpected car repair. I want us just to be ready for everything. So, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, for me, I usually am one that owes all my taxes because of the different things that I do. So I have had a strategy with that, with whatever I have to pay back. So throughout the year, I've been doing a quarter savings fund instead of when it gets in there like this is what you owe, and then I panic and I break out into a sweat. Now I'm prepared because I have been funding it quarterly. So when it comes, I was like, yeah, I got that. All I have to do is hit the send button instead of, okay, I got to do this. And do I have to borrow? Like, what am I going to do next? Instead of panicking, it's preparation. And some other things as well is making sure that I think the last time we were talking about that, when we're responsible when it comes to our finances, but also we have to put ourselves into the fun fund. That's something recently that you're live on the last time. I actually have done a vacation, which I have not done for several years because I've been in this responsible mode of, okay, I got this because I had the tunnel vision. I got to save this. I got to get that. Do I have this? Do I have that? But you have to also refresh yourself too. You don't want to burn out and then you won't be able to do anything. So I put a fun fund this year.
Huh. And exactly. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. There's no reason for you to feel any guilt because when those charges from your flights or your cruise or whatever it is you're going to do hit, you're going to be ready to pay for them. You're not putting yourself into debt, then that's what it's all about. And nothing should be sneaking up on us. We know whose milestone birthday is coming up, graduation and destination weddings and all those different things. So don't let it don't pretend like it's a sudden unexpected expense. Put the work in to be putting some money aside for these things. And definitely thank you for sharing about the tax strategy and breaking it down to quarterly. You know, even if you're not paying it quarterly, you have to have that money put aside. You just, we don't want to be overwhelmed with something, and don't fool yourself and say that it was an unexpected expense. We have to be ready for the unexpected and the routine things. So I was talking a little bit in my live last night about however you set it up. Everyone's different. Sinking funds, emergency funds, some people break them into different buckets. You have to do what's the right fit for you, but do something. Find that right fit for yourself so that you can be prepared and ready to go. Now, the next topic I want to touch on is about let's see, is about money and relationships. And I think that this is an important one, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a romantic relationship. You could be living with your grown children, whoever's contributing to your household. It's just a matter of knowing what are the goals, what are the expectations, how long is this person going to be here contributing to this household and the expenses here. Having, just a full plan. And speaking of, weddings, which are very expensive, which are very expensive, I think that even with that, a lot of people, when they're in that dating stage and planning the wedding, they're not even putting, they're just going through the motions and not really having their eyes open and their minds open to how much this person prioritizes spending, and are they really on, can they afford what they're putting this money into, and is it worth it? Are your goals aligned when it comes to spending on certain things? So you have to ask your partner, you have to know if your partner is financially responsible and you're on the same page, and you're always going to be in the same battle. Um, for and that's the start of your life together. So make sure that you're putting the work in. So do you have the same shared goals? Are you combining finances? Share a little bit of thoughts on this, Marlene. I know this is a tough topic, but what do you think?
Yeah, like you mentioned, Lisa, it's tough to talk about money and relationships because most people, the disagreements on money is one of the biggest issues. And one may view it as a tool for safety and security, and the other one may use it to enjoy present or to gain freedom. But something that I was thinking about was doing money dates. That's something that I've been seeing as something trending, that people are having money dates where like it's not a stressed out thing, but tackling one thing that you want to move together in a united front, like whatever it could be. Maybe it's your debt, it could be building for your children's college fund, or whatever the thing will be for you. It's coming together in a nice space, like on a date, relaxed. Maybe you go on a picnic or whatever, something that's not going to be a very big cost. And then because it's not a stressful thing, just talk about one thing. Hey, let's today let's talk about so and so, and what are your views? What do you think we could be doing differently? And then you listen. So for me, I found that to be something of, it's not very stressful to come to the person that you're with, your partner, about money things when it's in a relaxed environment. So I like that. Have a money date. That's something that I think is a really good thing. But as far as what you're saying, I do think that you have to make sure, like you said, that there's alignment in your relationship, because you don't want it to get to this space of you've invested relationship and it doesn't work out, and then you suffer financially and break apart. So you want to make sure it's a wise decision that's beneficial for both of you and you're in alignment.
Yeah, definitely. I hear what you're saying. And another thing I wanted to touch on in this area, and as far as a romantic relationship, a partnership, I was watching a couple being interviewed, and they were about maybe 10 or 12 years apart in age. And so obviously the husband was going to be at retirement age, much more, there was a significant age gap there of when he wanted to retire and when she thought that she would be able to retire. So those are another thing that, you need to talk about so that if you want to retire together, that you're investing and saving and have those same goals to do that if there are different circumstances like this. I know someone else that she was not married. She had two children with someone. They were in a relationship. He came into a substantial amount of money. And she was talking and just thinking, oh, we're going to be able to get married. We're going to be able to put money away for the children. They are no longer together. And I guess once he got that money, it showed him that he was not in line. It finally showed her that they were not in line on their goals and their use for money. He did not want to use it for the type of things that she had in mind. And, a sad outcome to that story, but these are the things that we need to be having those tough conversations about. I recently had put on my community wall. I don't have it up here. I'm going to try to take a look at it if I have a chance, just to show it. But it was just a list of different things for people to vote on to share what is really those things that have impacted your money. And I have one of the categories on it. I'm pretty sure it came in at the lowest level, but it was divorce and child support. So these are the things that can substantially impact your financial outlook. And, it's a matter of having those tough conversations and making a plan so that perhaps you can avoid so many of these different things, so many of these different arguments and conflicts that can go on so that you can be on track to do what you want to do and make your money make more money and not have so much expenses that uh as I said, nothing should be unexpected. But just some different thoughts on things that uh, you can make sure to do if you are already in a relationship with someone, or seeing how the people under your roof that are contributing to your household are behaving so that you can get on track before things get worse and there's more arguments about money. Now, is there anything else you want to share on that, Marlene, on just making sure that you're building and your goals are aligned with the people that are around you?
Right. And also, you mentioned the people who are under your roof. That does include your children. It includes maybe if you have an older relative or someone who has special needs, like that is the case for me. I make sure that there's conversations when it comes to money about the spending and the things that they do in the household, that it affects me, even if they're not bringing in income. If they are not making good choices, if they're wasting the energy, they're doing some other things, it can cause you to have a heavier load. So it's all about respect and alignment, not just with your significant other, but also anybody who lives in the household, so that there's alignment and not resentment, because that can definitely happen under one roof if one feels like they're doing all the work and the others are not contributing or not helping to support the finances or making things be more comfortable for everyone. It's a respect thing.
Yeah, and in today's day and age, as we've talked about already with expenses and housing and everything being so expensive, people are living with their family members much later into life because it's hard to afford and maintain your own apartment, transportation, and things like that nowadays. And it's gotten so much harder. I'm so glad that I purchased the home that I live in and additional properties before the interest rates and the housing prices got to where they're at today. If today was my starting point, it would be drastically different outcome for me based on my income. So, someone was saying, is that a Steinway or a Yamaha? The piano in the background over there? No, no, no. I think you're just joking, but that is Marlene's spectacular background of the day. Okay. Have you heard of the fire movement? Most definitely. And Marlene was touching on that earlier today. Someone, Jamal, is asking, have we heard of the fire movement? Financial independence, retire early. Marlene has already said in today's live that she only wants to work another 4 to 5 years. And so, yes, Marlene will not be 67 years old in 4 years. So yes, we are striving to, I don't share at, I'm not sharing how many more years I plan on working, but yes, this is something that I'm striving for and putting the work into having um, other sources of income and being on track to retire earlier than the normal age. And there was something else I wanted to, let me see if I have it here. Something that I wanted to touch on before. Well, let me jump over to this because I was just mentioning it. That fire, yes. Yes, there are different aspects of fire, barista fire and things like that, but you have to find the right fit for yourself. There's someone I've checked out her channel just a few times. I don't know that much about her, but I believe her channel's name is Happy on Monday. And she retired with less than $1 million, and she's not to the age where she can get Social Security yet, but she's able to make it fit for herself, And that's where you have to put the work in, like Marlene has done with not having that mortgage debt and different things like that. You have to build you have to put the work in to make your life fit into whatever it is that you're striving to have to draw from in retirement. And I think a big obstacle that people need to be mindful of is that when you do retire early, you have to be ready to pay for your medical costs on your own. And that includes surgeries and everything that could come up before you're at the age for Medicare and Medicaid and those type of things. So it takes a substantial amount of saving and investing and planning. So, all right. So this is the, oh no, that's not the right one. This is the one. This is the question the poll question that I was referring to. What do you think impacts wealth the most? Real life stuff. So I gave the categories of not investing early, poor money management, debt, credit cards and loans, and then divorce slash child support. Marlene, what do you think? What would you have voted if you didn't vote in this poll? What would be something that you think is the hardest thing that is impacting wealth building?
Uh, I think it's a combination of 2 and 3, to be honest, because the poor money management is going to trickle down into the debt.
Okay, okay. It's down to 3% now, but I thought that divorce and child support would have been a bit higher as far as how the voting would have come out with this one. But yeah, it's good to see that people are, just reflecting back and thinking I should have invested earlier and managed my money more responsibly. But of course, debt is a huge one for many people. And so, especially in today's day and age, like I said, it's not that you want to, it's not intentional, but I've been there before where I was in a place where I had to charge things like when the car broke down or something like that, or even just wind up having expenses linger as far as groceries and gas. But now I'm able to stay on top of it so that they're never rolling over and having me pay interest on something as basic as that. Um, Thank you, Poppin' Fresh, for that super chat, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. I'm glad that you discovered our channels today. I'm Lisa J. Stocks, and I am here with Marlene Motivates. So make sure to check out her channel. Um, at least once a month, we usually do a dual stream together. No, we don't dual stream. We collaborate. So I will be over on Marlene's channel. So if you want another opportunity to catch us together, you'll have to watch us over on Marlene's channel. But I really do appreciate that. So let me just read through this a comment here. Let's see. Great advice from both of you. So important. Do you both mention ETFs and mutual funds that you recommend for long term? Lastly, how do you feel about tech and AI stocks? Thanks. Yes, I have lots of content about ETFs and mutual funds, FXAIX, SPMO. Um, Drop me a comment on one of my regular videos. If there's anything that you're looking to find, I can definitely direct you to different videos that I think would be of interest to you on those topics. And tech and AI, those are definitely areas that I invest heavily into. Uh, because they have the largest market caps when it comes to the companies in the US, and they're also what's thriving. So it's natural that most of our portfolios are going to gravitate to those type of investments. I just put out a video just before we went live on SK Hynix, which is IPOing today. It just hit, I think, late morning today. And so that is an ETF. That is an investment that is in the ETF DRAM, and that's a memory ETF. So whether it's memory, semiconductors, anything related to AI is thriving. But I definitely share a lot about that through my content and through my own personal investments when it comes to ETFs, as well as the individual stocks that I hold in my portfolio. And thank you again for that. I really do appreciate the super chat. So, uh, Jamal, did Jamal share something? My annuity is in VFIAX. Okay, so I think that's Vanguard version of a fund that I mentioned. I'm not sure if that's the S&P or total stock market, because I'm not that in tune with the Fidelity fund. I mean, with the Vanguard funds as I am with the Fidelity funds. SK Hynix went live today. Yes, it did. It did. I put out the video, and then by the time I edited up my video a little bit, it was already live. But during my video, it was not. Check that one out when you have a second. It's a short video, so you'll be able to get through it in no time. Hands down, children you can't take care of. Okay, let's see. All right, I was just taking a quick look in the chat. Okay, so Jamal sharing a few tickers, VOO, VGT, VFIAX, and the SPY. Now, VOO and the SPY track the same thing, which is the S&P 500. So there are better alternatives. So I would never, okay, let me put it this way. SPY I use for trading, not investing. It has a higher expense ratio. There are other options for investing. So VOO is an investment. SPY is trade status when it comes to this channel over here, guys. And I've definitely made sure to highlight that throughout my videos. SPYM is another lower cost alternative that you can use to get S&P 500 exposure. And then FXAIX is a mutual fund version, but that's over at Fidelity, which is an even lower cost version of a way to get exposure to the S&P 500 at 0.015% expense ratio versus zero point 0.2 for SPYM, and then 0.03, not 0.2, 0.02, and then 0.03 for VOO. So keep those expense ratios low. Have an understanding of what you're investing into. I definitely don't want us to be in funds that are going to, those fees are going to be eating away at our investment. But when I collaborate with Marlene, I try not to get too technical, but I definitely, you can definitely tune in to my Sunday lives, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if these are different things you want to chat about. But leave me comments, and I definitely have tons of videos that I can direct you to. QQQM, that's another good one. And that is already the lower cost version. So you're on track there. Okay. Okay. So let's just start to wrap it up a little bit. So, uh, do you have any money moves that you want to focus on for the second half of 2026, Marlene?
Well, right now, like I said, I'm at the 9 months in my emergency fund. I have been trying to work in this quarter of making it be 1 year. So I'm trying to add 4 more months so I can make sure that I have 1 year in my emergency fund, which has been, I've had some setbacks, some things going on in my family that I haven't been able to move as fast as I want to, but that's my goal, to try to get to the 1 year mark, with my emergency fund. That's what I've been working on the hardest right now.
Hey, all right, all right. She's still going, guys. She's gonna do a whole year. All right. Um, for me, I think I want to just get to a place where I have combed through every account and made those adjustments. I think I'm in a place right now where I want to continue auditing and rebalancing when it comes to my portfolios. And so that's what I'll share as my goal right now. So guys, do you, from the things that we discussed today, have you did anything come to your minds that you want to set as a money goal for this second half of 2026? Feel free to share in the chat. So, and like I was sharing, oh, one more thing I just wanted to share before we wrap up. What time is it? Okay. So, guys, remember, Social Security was not meant to be the total plan of how you're going to take care of yourself. And that's why I'm always stressing and sharing about multiple streams of income, making sure that you are investing as much as possible, that you are building, that you have goals for yourself. And I recently shared my real numbers, which you can get by signing on to into the Social Security site. You're going to have to give details, of course, your Social Security number. And I even had to put in my, I set it up a while ago, but I'm pretty sure I had to put in a photo of the back and front of my license. So you have to prove that it is you in order to have access to this site. But it gave me my true numbers as to at age 62, 67, 70, what my Social Security would look like. And it's dependent on, my highest earning years of working. And so I recently, at the end of last month, I shared those numbers in the Discord as well as to my channel members. And so, I'm keeping it real. It's not anything substantial, but I just wanted to share this breakdown here so you can have an idea. And still, you're not going to know truly until you go ahead and take a look at your real numbers, but it's going to be based on I don't have the details on how many years, but it's going to be different for everyone. We have at the low end here at a $40,000 average income of $1,800 monthly and a $200,000 plus income. You can get, a little over $4,000 a month. But just something I wanted to highlight so that, we can take these times, these periods of time and start to reflect on these things and make a plan on how you can um, make sure that you're on track to have a better financial outlook for yourself. Have you ever looked at a chart like in this way, Marlene? And do you know personally your own real retirement numbers as of right now? Your
Yes.
real social security numbers.
Yeah, I do. Mhm.
Do you think that this chart right here is surprising to some people, or do you think that they realize that it's tied to their own income, and no matter what you do, it's not going to be anything that substantial? Or do you think that many people think that you can get by with just Social Security?
No, I think the majority of us don't know what that number is, and it's an eye opener. And that was one of the things that caused me to really, okay, it's time to put my foot on the gas because, like, we're getting older here, and I need more than this.
Okay, okay. So yeah, many things impact the women that we have become, whether it's layoff, whether it's seeing, friends or family members unable to work unexpectedly, having to go into retirement, onto disability, realizing what those real numbers look like as far as Social Security, pension, and then knowing how much we want to be ready to rely on ourselves. And so these are those tough topics and questions that we talk about around here. And Marlene is so right. Well said. Okay, Americans have no idea. Okay, okay. Yep, they're agreeing with you, Marlene. Okay, so um, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, thank you to the new subscribers who found my channel today. Thank you to Pop and Fresh for that $10 super chat. I hope I see you back here again soon. Feel free to leave me comments. Always make sure to support, watch videos in full, like, comment, hype. This is how you could support for free. But I definitely appreciate those of you who join my channel membership that give super chats and support in that way also. It is greatly appreciated. So make sure to check out Marlene's channel. Marlene, do you have any closing words for us today?
Just for everybody to look at their own situation. Um, I think you need to mute, Lisa. Um, I think we each need to look at our own financial situation because we're all different. What works for one may not work for another. It's not a copy and paste thing, even with your siblings or friends or people that you know. You have to look at your life and see if you're on track for your goals and what do you need to do. Do you need to pull back? Is there any waste? Is there more that you could do? Are you in alignment with your partner? And are you doing all the things necessary so that you can be in the space that you want to be with your emergency fund, with your portfolio, with everything? So just some things to think about.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Keenan Grace, for stopping by. He dropped the ETF in the chat, DRAM, which is a memory ETF. And I touched on it in my latest video. Keenan says, oh, let me go back to the chat for 1 second. He's saying, where is it? Oh, that was someone else saying yes, DRAM is fire. Yes. And I was touching on earlier, I just put out a video. SK Hynix, one of the top holdings in that ETF, just IPO today. But if you already had DRAM in your portfolio, this is what I'm talking about, that you don't have to be afraid of, feel that FOMO and feel like you have to chase every individual stocks. Remember, ETFs and mutual funds, which we touched on a few of those today, give you exposure to those top names. Some with a higher expense than other, but usually when you get the ones that have that higher expense ratio also have that higher performance, so you're getting rewarded for it. But make sure to check out that video. Thank you again to Keenan for popping in. Yes, I do not hold DRAM in my portfolio yet, but my latest video can give you a plan if you are building into it. Okay, so that's it for today. Marlene, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope everyone watching has a great weekend, and we will see you soon. So, bye, guys.
Start it up.